is a presentation of KSL Sports. Hello, Cougar Nation.
Top of the key, triple. Richie Saunders, fourth three-pointer of the night. Massive make.
Every Monday night, we break down the Cougars' last game and look ahead to next week. Cougar Nation, brought to you by Central Bank. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Good evening, Cougar Nation. Welcome on into your show, Cougar Nation. BYU basketball is in the Sweet 16. Oh, how sweet it is. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you. We have got the phone lines open over the next hour. Folks, this hasn't happened in 14 years. You better load up the phone lines. 801-575-8255. We want to hear from you, your thoughts on this Sweet 16 run, and whether or not BYU can take down Alabama in the Sweet 16. But what a sweet feeling it is for BYU hoops, Matt.
It was an unbelievable night in Denver as they cling to life down the stretch against a furious Wisconsin comeback. Hey, I'm also open to hearing from those fans who went and just your experience at Ball Arena. It was an electric atmosphere. So whatever you want to talk about related to this excellent BYU basketball team, sound off. We want to hear from you because this show's for you.
BYU takes down Wisconsin 91-89 in the round of 32 to get to the Sweet 16. Let's break it all down in our takeaways.
Cougar Nation takeaways. Mitch and Matt analyze BYU's last week of play and what it means for the next week.
BYU beats Wisconsin 91-89. It was a crazy basketball game in which BYU saw a double-digit lead late in the half evaporate, and they get a much-needed stop on the final possession of the game. Mawat Mag comes up big. They clear the rebound. They hold on and get the win. The officials are not one of my two takeaways, but I'm sure it will be discussed during this hour. So, I don't think it was good by any stretch of the imagination. We can break that down further. My biggest takeaway, though, Mitch, was this team is so tough and so resilient. Maybe the most resilient team I've ever seen in my lifetime for BYU basketball, and that is a credit to Kevin Young. It's a credit to his coaching staff. It's a credit to these players. There was so much adversity in that game. It was preposterous, actually, some of the things that occurred. You have an ejection late in the game on a routine basketball play. Dawson Baker, which I thought he was fouled as the trap came, he's getting harassed to the degree which should not be allowed according to the rules. He tries to split the double, and his elbow catches a Wisconsin player in the groin, and somehow that results in an ejection. And that was crazy because I feel like if that doesn't happen, they win that game comfortably. But that was 2 free throws, bang, bang. Then they get a bucket, and they're right back in the game. Then you had 2 turnovers in the final couple minutes, too. Dallin Hall had a bad read to Richie that got intercepted for I think it ended up resulting in a offensive rebound and one situation. And then Yegor Demin missed an inbound pass to Trevin Nell. Think about that. That was all in the space of 2 to 3 minutes at the end of that game. And yet they found a way. What resilience?
It was resilience. And I did think after that flagrant 2, when Yegor hit the 3 to go up 11, I thought, game over. Dagger. They responded from the flagrant 2. This thing's a wrap. But, to your point, Wisconsin had a impressive effort to try to get back into the game. This was a wire-to-wire win for BYU. Such an impressive performance by the Cougars. I think my big takeaway, I brought him up just now, Yegor Demin is looking like the lottery pick folks thought he would be. Now, does he – I'm curious to see what his decision is after this year officially. I think
fans were yelling at the end of the game in the BYU section, 1 more year, 1 more year.
And, when you see the potential of this program, and whatever happens this week, we'll see what happens. I'm really – we'll dive into Alabama coming up a little bit later this show. But, this is year 1 for Kevin Young. And to get to the Sweet 16, it's an incredible accomplishment. But Yegor Demin is looking like every bit the prospect that – the magnitude of the recruit that he was when he signed with BYU and all the accolades and hype that he was receiving. And I think this is some of his best games in the NCAA Tournament since early in the year when he was racking up Freshman of the Week honors. I think Yegor's doing an excellent job, and he's knocking down big shots from 3, and I think that is such a difference for BYU when he's able to hit long-distance shots and because we haven't seen it much in Big 12 play. We did not see that from Jaeger at all. So that's been a big difference for BYU and as they get ready for the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Another takeaway of mine, sort of to piggyback off yours, is Kevin Young is an unbelievable X's and O's coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he's just an all-around great coach. But that Wisconsin game was a masterclass in game preparation, in-game adjustments, and situational awareness. Late in the game when things were unraveling, he calls a timeout on a broken play, and they get Richie Saunders to the free throw line to just settle the nerves. I thought that was a brilliant move by Kevin Young to have the timeout still, because you could have burned a couple others before that during the wave of things, and he kept that around until he needed it. And I think a move that he's made of late that's really helped Jaeger, to your point, develop, he's taken him off ball more. A lot of Big 12 play, Jaeger was the initiator offensively. That has changed. Now, he still does a lot of initiating as the point guard, but it feels like Dallin Hall has – remember the beginning of Big 12 play? Dallin was playing much more of the two off ball. That is switched, and I think that's helped Jaeger because if Jaeger has the ball in a late clock situation, he can still dribble and make something happen, but to take that pressure off him all the time, I think that is a significant reason why he's playing much better basketball right now. So Kevin Young, man, he's the real deal. He's a superstar in this profession. BYU's lucky to have him. He's an outstanding coach.
I did think, though, when you bring up Dallin Hall, that drive he had that came up short, miss, I don't think that was the right shot. He only had one shot before that the whole game. He went 0 of 2 in the game.
That was a late clock situation, right?
It was getting down to the end there, so he had to kind of make a decision. And I like that willingness to go get it, but I would have liked to seen ideally Richie Saunders. But, I mean, look, it's shot clock's expiring and it happens. But, I think another takeaway for me in this game, BYU, and we're breaking down BYU and Wisconsin, 91-89. The Cougs take down the Badgers. I love the shooting. BYU, 49% from the field. You keep that at, this team's going to be able to continue to go further and further in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk about BYU and Bama coming up, but we got to take a break. On the other side, we'll get to some of your phone calls. 801-575-8255. Central Bank voted best bank and mortgage in Utah Valley. Visit them online at cbutah.com.